second grade. Miss Lewis was my favorite teacher. And that's the importance of having great teachers. You see a lot of these tech guys, their children don't use the
Yes,
technology, the
in peace,
phone.
Steve Jobs. He said that he will not buy his child an iPhone. I guess at the moment you're okay with it, right? Because you got the right answer, you can just move on to the next question.
Instant
You'll
satisfaction,
instant gratification.
gratification.
And welcome back to Millennial Minds. We are your hosts. I am Chris.
I'm Amber, and together we are creme brulee. Today we're gonna hop into the Millennial Insight,
Okay.
which we're talking all about EdTech, which is the term for education and technology joining forces. The computers in homerooms, the applications and things that they use, etc. So we're going to have a really good conversation about that. And then we're going to answer a listener question courtesy of ChatGPT. And then we'll wrap up with more on, I was going to say Hurricane Fern. Okay. More on Snowstorm Fern.
Winter storm.
Winter Storm.
Because it's mixed with ice.
Okay. 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 So that's the difference. Winter Storm Fern that's hitting, excuse me.
God bless you.
So sorry. Winter Storm Fern that's hitting the
Southeast.
southeast, because I would not know which
Part
area. I
part of the
just know
Midwest. Yes.
it's going central
Yeah.
of the country.
Right. Okay. So EdTech.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say Gen Z?
Oh, I did not say Gen Z, but
See, you threw me off when you started talking about the storm. That's why I was like, hold on, what are we talking about again
okay,
today?
so ed tech
Okay.
within the Generation Z,
Okay.
and how they have possibly been affected, as well as younger generations who are now using more technology focused, I guess, practices within their education. It really heightened, I would say, during the pandemic, when we went, well, not heightened during that time. It's kind of been slowly introducing itself, but we became really reliant on it with virtual teaching, things like that, virtual schooling, etc.
Yeah, it should have been a band-aid, for the issues that a lot of administrations, school administrations, states were facing during COVID, right?
Yeah.
It should have just been something that was temporary
Hmm.
and then slowly brought the students back to what we knew teaching
Okay.
was, what we knew schooling was, but instead they kept it, right? And I
Yes.
don't know why. I really don't know why. The mayor of New York. So New York is also going to be hit with this storm. I think Sunday night, Sunday morning or something
Hmm.
is going to sweep up pretty quickly. He's already announced that yes, school will be open, but it will be virtual. Now, in those cases, right, in
Okay.
those extreme circumstances where weather is an issue, traveling is an issue,
Okay.
yes, then the students should be able to use this. But for it to be incorporated into the syllabus,
Yeah.
into the yearly the class schedule, right?
Yeah.
And you're using it more times than you are a textbook, which I'm talking about the tablets,
Hmm.
right? Because they have to give them something,
Oh God, the
you know?
tablets. I mean,
Who's
there's all.
providing this?
That's what I want to
Is
know.
the state
I
providing
think
this?
the state is providing. Look, we ain't got kids, so don't ask us. We don't know. Okay, this is opinion. I don't know who.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer: we ain't got no kids,
What
but
did
we
I
have opinion
what did I
on the
what did I
future.
what did I tell you before we started recording? I said I would love to just
Allegedly. Oh.
what?
Oh, I thought you were okay. Never mind.
I told her I said hey, I would love to just walk through the classes, not classes, but I would love to walk through schools now
Hmm.
just to see how they're learning, right?
Yeah.
Because it makes me think that there's such a disconnect, right, between teachers and students. How
Hmm.
do you feel? Because yeah, how do you feel like the interaction is nowadays, right? Like if you have to teach virtually, right. And like I said, in extreme circumstances where weather and traveling is an issue for the students and the teachers and the staff, I get it.
Mhm.
But if you're saying, hey, you're learning remote 2 days, this ain't corporate. You know, like
Yeah,
I
it's
understand
crazy.
you're learning remote for 2 days out of the week.
Because then we also have to, because how do
That's
you
difficult.
measure the quality of education that's being received, right, by the child if, say, they have connectivity issues, say they have no connectivity at all, say they have
I was just thinking that. Yes,
parents who maybe don't know how to work the technology or the application, or I mean, any
it's
number of reasons could affect the quality and standard of education that the child is getting.
it's so funny because I'm next to someone who cannot work a tablet, and I
There's
can imagine
instances where the buttons are in places I didn't expect them to be.
and I can
Okay.
imagine what some of these parents are going through, right? It has to be difficult because if you don't spend enough time on it, you're not going to really know your way
Yeah.
around it, right? Like
Which means, how can parents even be involved in the learning process as well if they're
exactly,
unfamiliar with the tools?
exactly.
So,
Some of them haven't picked up a tablet one time,
ever.
since they've been released. You
You
know,
know, hold on, because this is funny. You know what tablet I had, baby. I had an Acer. Yeah. I can't even, I don't know if I should even say that. The last tablet that I had was an Acer tablet, and that bad boy, they stopped making releases on that bad boy 10 years ago. Do you hear me? That's how long I've had that
it
thing.
was picking up dust. It didn't even turn on.
It didn't even want to turn off.
It didn't want to turn on.
But if that was my last experience, and I'm a millennial, right? Like,
So you're
and
proving my point.
I'm just saying that, I'm saying, in addition to that, imagine our, our parents, or someone, maybe you're an older parent or whatever the case may be, right? But your child is now exclusively using iPads,
Expected to learn.
or
Yeah,
expected to learn. And that was part of this article too.
expected to learn.
Um, the article that actually sparked the conversation.
Because look, think about this.
Okay.
They're just putting your homework in a Dropbox. You know, you got to pull from there. That's crazy. We used to go home with worksheets. I used to have my homework stuffed in the textbooks, right? The
Okay.
worksheets and all that. I used to just carry it just like that. Imagine having to pull your homework from a Dropbox. Some people don't know how to do that.
But this is the thing. What I
That's
will push back
crazy.
on with homework is that I do believe that there shouldn't be as much homework, but that would require,
Mm,
because I
hot
feel, I
take.
do agree with other places who have a no homework type thing that they do, or policy. Because I do believe that home should be home and school should be school, and having those environments separate. However, that would then also mean that the teachers need the support that they need in order to give the necessary learning to the students. You see what I'm saying? To ensure that they're staying up to whatever, whatever the learning standard is, but that they're actually absorbing the information that they're getting. And that would also require parents supporting that process so that behaviors are under control. And you know what I'm saying, the teachers, we've heard it so many times, the teachers are doing both the role of the teacher and the parent, and behavior, like there's not enough um care for learning. And so, you know, teachers are constantly fighting, not well, fighting for like the engagement, the attention of the students as well because of that. So like there's a whole ecosystem of things that need to happen for that to make sense. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Um,
yeah. And for the teachers that had to spend the last 3, 4, 5 years adapting to this.
yeah,
You know, they've been teaching for 20 plus.
yeah.
You know, I can imagine how difficult it is for them as well. But what did the
So
article
the
say?
article, the article is from Institute for Family Studies, and it was actually an article that was sent to me by my mom. It says, "How has our reliance on EdTech ushered in an illiterate age?" And so this was just written in 2026, January 21st, and it was
Oh wow.
sharing um, insights into a book called Teaching Digital Literacy.
Okay.
And so like for different people within the space or who have invested interest in ed tech and teaching, etc. But it just ended up sparking a lot of conversations and going down the rabbit hole to where I ended up finding um the Essence article that was sharing is Gen Z uh what was the name of that article? It was like, is Gen Z, falling behind because of reading or something along those lines. I'm gonna find it really quick. But it brought up the conversation of is are these ed tech advantages or technological advances helping the youth? Should they be introduced at the ages that they're being introduced within the school and learning system?
Did it say what age?
It doesn't say what age that they're being introduced, but I know that it's getting younger and younger.
I can imagine.
I
Yeah.
know that it's because we even used in our day and age. I mean, the most that we that we used a computer for, at least in my experience, was when they had the reading. When you can read the
Hold on, hold
books.
on, hold on, baby. Because I'm trying to dig into my memory. We had one computer in third grade,
Yeah, I
and
had a
and
computer
and
that
and,
yeah, yeah.
and there was only one teacher, one class that had it, and we literally had to take turns.
Well, I think ours, yeah, it was something along the same lines.
But it
And
wasn't anything on there. It was like Yukon
yeah, ours was
Trail.
like the
You know what I'm
reading.
saying?
What was that incentive program where like you read X amount of books, like you would get rewarded for reading X amount of books, and like you could. I can't remember what it's called, but we had in I want to say it was in Miss Lewis's
Mm,
class, second grade. Miss Lewis was my favorite teacher. And that's the importance of having great teachers because I am a 33-year-old woman and I still remember Miss Lewis as my second grade teacher because she was that great.
how many can you name?
Mr. Mitchell.
Okay.
I had Mr. Mitchell.
Well,
I used
just
to
give
go.
me the number. You ain't got to put them out.
I'm just saying, Mr. Mitchell. I went to him. And the reason I remember his class was because we would do the reading carpet, and uh, he would sing CARPET, carpet time, and we would all come to the carpet for a book. So he was one of my favorites.
But
And
see,
then
I think that's something that's missing too,
that it's missing.
right?
Yeah.
Just the overall like class engagement.
Yes.
Like yeah, you everybody's joking with each other. Hopefully, maybe they're still doing that, but just like group projects, and
Hmm.
it's like if everything is, I really, really, really need to know like how severe it is for these students and teachers.
So I just found the article from Essence.
Okay.
The name of the article from Essence was College Professors Warn of Literacy Crisis as More Gen Z Students Struggle with Reading. Right. So we have this article coming to us talking about Gen Z students. The other article was more so addressing ed tech in the it looked like the direction they were going were younger than Gen Z. So I
Ooh.
imagine Gen Alpha. They're talking about Gen Alpha and
What are they, 12 right now?
something like that. Something like that. I don't know. Let me not lie to you. And I'm not gonna Google everything.
I mean, if
Well,
you knew it off the top, that was going to be
you know what
impressive.
I'm saying?
But
But
I
you
was,
know,
I just threw the number out there because
some
I'm
I
trying to
know
do the
they
reverse
like
math.
look, here I am, 10 years. Like that that'd be like my
Okay,
measure.
so 2007.
I just be trying to do like a approximate 10 to 12 year situation.
So it's like right, it's just slightly before the 2010s,
Mm,
maybe.
that sounds right. Because I want to say, yeah, that sounds right. Let me not reveal too
Mm,
much about my personal
like
life.
12 to 16 right now,
Okay,
maybe.
so, and now that
Reveal. You just said your age just a minute ago. You thought you was gonna slide through that? What?
so you were talking about
Okay.
engagement, and so it
Yes.
makes me ask the question with this ed tech era that we're in. are we as educators or systems or whatever, is engagement with the devices, is that being confused? Is entertainment with the devices being confused with engagement? Are they saying because our kids actually engaged in learning, or is the tool, is it just a means of another form of entertainment?
Hmm.
And it gives them like that hit of like, you like this, you do that, and you get a hit of dopamine, just like social media.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Uh, it's a that's a good question because assuming the tablets that the school provides, which I hope that they do, right? Like if
They got to, because
hopefully
everybody
the
doesn't have
teachers
access.
and the parents are coming out of pocket just to buy
Absolutely
an
not.
Acer
Trying
tablet, you know what I mean, for
to be
learning.
funny.
But also, but I mean, if as long as it's so, I have an iPad, right?
Hmm.
I have an iPad, so the amount of things I can do on that thing, especially with this new update, is incredible,
Right.
right? It's damn near a computer.
Uh-huh.
You know, I know you said that it's not, right? But if I throw a keyboard on there, I have a computer.
Okay.
So hopefully they don't have a lot of those features. Let's just say that they're using an iPad or something like that.
Hmm.
Hopefully they don't have the features like a YouTube, right, where they can download apps. It already comes
Hmm.
with the apps downloaded and they're all educational. Nothing more, nothing less,
Hmm.
right? If that's the case, I'm fine with that. But if that's the case, I'm fine with that, right? Like if it's because you can, I believe you can like buy tablets and you can already have like apps installed, and you know, for especially for the kids, so they don't get curious to download
My
more apps.
question though is just because it's an educational app, does that mean that they're actually learning because it's educational?
I would have to see it. I would have to see
Or
it
is it just
because my
hitting
concern,
buttons and being entertained by this turning green and that lighting up and this doing that?
my
You know what I'm
concern is
saying?
right because whenever just going back to what how we grew up and how we were learning in school,
Mhm.
teacher would give us something. All right, let's say it's an open book quiz. Teacher would give us something, go back to the desk, and then 25, 30 minutes later collect the papers.
Mhm.
Right, if they're doing that now on the tablet, let's say you finish early. Oh, guess what? I'm about to put my headphones in and kind of watch some YouTube while or better yet, I can have it playing while I'm doing the work. That's my concern is the
Mhm.
multitasking aspect of having a tablet to learn from, right? Because then that kind of that decreases your learning efficiency,
Mhm.
you know? So that would be my concern and hopefully that's not the case here, you know?
Yeah, I would
Um
hope. I don't think that that's the
hopefully
case.
that's
I
not the
think that
case.
they're, because the way that from this article, what was shared was that there are full ed tech companies, who have sold this idea that ed tech is so great, and bringing this technology, bringing these tablets, bringing these computers into your school is going to help your students to learn
I'm
better and
sure they
more
have
effectively.
so much data to back that.
They have data that is skewed, right?
Biased.
Biased,
Yes.
and it doesn't paint the full picture of what children are learning, which brings me to just one thing adding to that, of that I really liked what I read in the article was the guy saying like, students, that the AI or the thing that they're working on can only understand right and wrong. It can only understand that you got the question right, you got the question wrong. The part that it lacks is the frustration, the confusion of maybe you got the question right, but you don't know why. It doesn't have the deeper understanding that a child would get when they're in the classroom with a teacher and can have that interaction with that teacher.
Could they ask the AI to help them? So, like, you get a question right,
Hmm.
you know, and you're kind of uncertain,
Hmm.
but the teacher can sense that. They're like, okay, show me how you got that answer,
But how
right?
can the teacher sense that if the student doesn't bring it to her attention,
Oh, that's fair.
or to the teacher's attention? Let me not gender
Okay, maybe
specific.
not sense, but they ask the follow up, say, hey, show me like what is it? Show your work, right? Write out the problem when you solve it. Now, don't just
AI
put the answer.
machines are
Uh,
are writing it out.
They're able to do. Okay, so they're able to
No,
do.
I'm just saying, like I'm thinking in theory of, if we're incorporating more and more of these tools,
Right.
right? And so it doesn't matter if they ask you to show it out, because if you go back and ask, show me, help me, break this question down. How is that AI going to interpret? Are they going to stop midway through and say, "Oh, not giving you the rest of the answer"? You
Yeah,
know what I'm
this
saying?
yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah.
it's just like, how do you pull the reins in on that? So then it does make me question how much how much is a child actually learning when they don't have that additional layer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To like to the studies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And if I mean if it's enough to get them through the lesson,
Hmm.
that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because there's so many ways that a teacher can help you understand how you got that answer,
Hmm.
and you can apply that to like all sorts of things.
Right.
Just based off of the information that he or she will provide you,
Right.
and if you're relying so much on the tech to give it to you, it's
Yeah.
going to be flawed, and you're going to, I guess at the moment you're okay with it, right? Because you got the right answer, you can just move on to the next question.
Right.
But
Instant
you'll
satisfaction.
instant gratification,
Gratification.
and
You knew where I was going. I
I
was
knew
I was mixing two
I knew you
two
were
concepts in my
I
mind.
knew where you were going.
Okay.
But but like that could lead to problems down the line,
Yeah.
right? And which kind of brings me to my question.
You're so prepared. It brings you to your question of,
Um, so we're gonna have to definitely
oh my
stop
God,
this.
let's not, please do not start.
Okay, okay, okay,
Let's please do not start.
okay. And it's really because when when you do get that instant gratification, right,
Hmm.
it could lead something to be fulfilled, right? And so because you probably because think about the one-on-one time that you're going to have with that teacher
Hmm.
that can help you get that answer, or it can show you where you messed up or how you got this wrong,
Hmm.
etc., right? Versus a code just being written in front of your face to let you know, hey, this is wrong and this is it. It's just like,
Yeah.
hey, I need more understanding to that. Now, do you feel these students are being too dependent on the technology now?
Um, because I don't have children, I can't speak to the education piece of it. What I can say is that I can notice a shift in um in the conversations that I'm seeing happening online, in the uptick in use of things like ChatGPT, and how students have been incorporating it into their work and into their uh, studies and things like that. So I would say that more people are definitely using ChatGPT. I think that when it comes to being relying on it education wise, I don't know. I
Mm,
don't know if they're relying on it education wise, but from the article that we're reading, teachers are struggling with students as far as getting them to actually comprehend the things that they're learning
yeah.
from these so-called educational technology learning applications on their apps.
This is the second time I thought about this. Can I get raw with you for a second?
Okay, you're gonna get raw with
We
me.
should have we should have definitely looked up some of these tablets and see what's on there before we had this conversation. Because I think
Yeah,
it
I
would it
mean,
would have provided some like context as well. Because we're kind of speaking blindly here. We really don't know like what it is it's showing, or like what kind of what kind of information it's providing. I think just a small
I mean, I'm what I'm using for my frame of reference
of
are
these art,
not just the articles. I mean, I have in knowledge of, I know kids who have tablets, right?
but
I
those
know
type,
those are personal tablets, but
yeah,
I'm also thinking about them in the sense of the education type tools that they use on their own personal tablets that I don't know that I would
that's why I was hoping.
consider.
That's why I was hoping that, or it is wishful thinking, but hopefully these tablets that they are providing the students are hard coded, so you can't download any additional apps. Right? It only has the ones that you need. Right? It's almost like a Kindle, right? Like, well, actually, you could download stuff on a Kindle, so scratch that. But if it, yeah, I mean, if like you can download YouTube or Paramount or Netflix or anything like that, then great, love it.
And I would say,
Because my whole thing is about the multitasking and how it could like lead to distractions. Because if you're walking around school with a damn iPad, it's like, yeah, I'm learning on this too. It's just like, well, brother, that's that's not the best way to do it.
so what I'm thinking more so is that they are apps that are hard coded into the tablets themselves. I don't
Okay,
imagine,
good.
like, unless it's like their personal devices or something like that, which, because I have, I know teachers, right, as well. And so a lot of times it's the personal devices that are causing more of the disconnect as far as like YouTube and things like that.
I think they are related. Yeah.
But as far as like on the tablets, those are not, you know, carrying those types of apps,
Oh, that's good.
right?
That's good.
So, in that regard, I think it's almost like when you have proxies set up for when we were in school, of course, more advanced than what it is now. Finally, the kids are outside. But I think, when we were in school, we had, the proxy websites, and, it wouldn't let you go on certain websites. And you had to try and go around them and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm
Boy, I
saying? Like,
found out.
when we found out how to go around and work the system,
Not stopping
you
me.
know, yay ass. But, I think they do, of course, set up barriers or boundaries for to ensure that the devices are being used for the things they need to be used for,
Gotcha.
right? It's more so those personal devices that a lot of teachers I've heard have a lot of issues with. So I'm focused more so though on the technology itself, as far as what we're saying is considered learning,
Right. Right. No, I hear you.
of more of like what we're considering it as, like, is this learning? Like, does this, just because it's labeled education technology, does that actually mean that, you know,
You know,
it's
and
educating?
another issue I think people aren't considering. Not every kid wants to learn that way.
Yeah,
Not every kid wants to learn that way, and we talked about it. Not every parent has the means or the ability to provide internet service. Like what if you live in an area that is secluded and the cellular service is very terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
that makes it so difficult for the parents and the students and the teachers, right? Because now you have to wonder why little Johnny didn't turn his homework in.
not little Johnny.
It's because he didn't have any service to send that motherfucker in. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy to me, and it's another thing. Like, and I just mentioned that some students are different, and not everybody wants to learn that way, and it sucks because it almost feels like because when we were in school, right? Like I remember that there were certain students that just needed certain things from the teacher, right? They
Yeah,
just needed that one on one time. Hey, see me after class, right? We all thought he was getting in trouble.
right.
The whole time it's just like we're gonna work on this together because clearly these knuckleheads is distracting you,
Yeah,
and I want to see you succeed. Right. And maybe they're
yeah,
still doing that now, but I'm sure I can't imagine that but if they're doing 2 days at home That takes away more
That
time.
is crazy. If
That takes
you had the option,
to
boy.
at home. What? That takes away more time that the teacher has with that student.
Yeah,
Now they're on a Zoom call.
which is crazy. I think part of the larger conversation outside of the ed tech is the illiteracy, and I'm not sure what source it came from. However, it was something along the lines of uh this generation, not sure which generation we're talking about, maybe the first generation that's not smarter than their parents. And
Mm,
you think about that, right, as like millennials, are more, advanced as far as career wise or education wise than our parents, right? And so to read this article from Essence that is talking about the literacy levels being so low within reading for Gen Z college students, I don't know, something about that is mind blowing to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
why is it?
I don't know. I don't know why it is. It makes
I'm
me. I don't know. Maybe it just makes me sad
about to say it's
that
upsetting.
it. I don't know. Maybe it just makes me sad that uh the world is moving so quickly, and I feel as though because the world is moving so quickly, it's like we're not providing the right tools to adapt to technology, right? We're all about, okay, let's get this technology, let's move, 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 but it's like technology is not going to be, technology may transform the world in different ways, but it's the skills to use the technology and the context that you need to use them in the ways that you know what I'm saying, that are really going to make the difference in how you succeed in finding a job and a career and talking to people, interpersonal skills,
Right.
like reading, you know what I'm saying, like understanding and comprehending deliverables and objectives and business goals, and you know what I'm saying, like not saying everyone's going into business, but all of those things, like you're gonna need to know how to do more than, I don't know, type something into a computer and have it spit you out the next steps.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's
Where we're
what
headed.
I'm more fearful of.
You think
Yeah.
that's where we're headed?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that I don't know if people actually are more reliant on it in the younger generations, but I will say is that I'm scared that they're going to become more and more reliant on it in the younger
It's
generations,
gonna be
and
so
that's going to
normal
be
for
hard.
them.
Yes.
So normal.
Yes.
Like it's like it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be bad.
That critical thinking isn't a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And with like the just being like, I was reading up on, SAT and the digital SATs and reading, because it used to be a sit down. I remember taking
You could
my
do it. You can do it from
ACTs.
home now.
Like it's so crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying anything's wrong with it. It's just that
Me and my homie had to get up early in the morning, and his mom did not play. She was just like, "Y'all got this test to take." We
we
went
got booklets,
we
hard
went to we went
booklets.
to Smyrna High School to take that
Oh
thing.
wow.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there was a schedule. You had to choose your day and
Yeah.
the time. Like we get knocked ours out so we can have the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But it was like a whole thing.
I still didn't do. Let me
Like
also
imagine
say,
doing that from home.
I don't
What?
believe that tests are tests determine how smart you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just because I didn't do well on the ACTs, but I think that, it does teach you how to commit to something. I think there's other things that, sitting down, taking a test, preparing for the test, studying for the test, researching for the test, like those are
Another
all
form of
other,
discipline. Yeah,
it's another form of discipline, and it's a lot of other skills you have to encompass to
absolutely,
prepare for that.
absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I wish you worked for the Browns because I told you about how the Browns are making like these head coaches while they're looking for one,
Yeah.
take these tests and all that, like
Hmm.
personality tests and written tests, essays and stuff like that.
It's crazy.
They needed someone to explain that just a little bit better because when we just get those, like,
Yeah.
just with that context, right?
Yeah.
Those those pieces of information is like, wow, we see why y'all suck.
Yeah.
It is, um, but you're right. It just shows a level of discipline,
Yeah.
right? Because you're preparing for it.
Yeah.
You're not only studying, but you're working through the answers. You're answering them right, and all this other stuff. And of course, when you get to the points where you have to kind of explain an answer or just
Mhm.
write like a short essay about it, like really just kind of shows the teacher and probably the school and everyone else that okay, this person understands the question
Yeah.
and is able to answer it the way we want it to. So
Yeah.
that's really good. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate that the reading levels are very low, especially
Yeah.
the kids going into school right now, like college and all that other stuff.
It
But
brings up the point of where they were saying that, that I think Gen Z is scanning more than they're actually reading articles,
yes,
which makes it difficult when it comes to comprehension of the material because a lot of the work, I guess, up until that point has been, I don't know, maybe it's been more formulated for reading has been more of a means to an end to answer a question rather than a means to enjoyment or just
well, the attention
reading
span
fiction.
is an issue, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you, what was that statistic that you told me? Oh, only what was
Only
it, 40%?
40% of Americans read at least one book in
And I
2025.
will admit, I know someone in that 40%.
I do as well. Yeah.
Not in this house.
Not in here, not in here, but you know, it really that also made me really sad. Like, was I not like disappointed? I was like,
I'm
this
not
is
shocked.
just
I'm not
so
shocked by that. I'm
disappointing.
not shocked by that. So a lot of people don't like to read,
And I
or they
don't
don't
know.
find enjoyment from reading. Maybe we're a very special crop.
And I don't know that it's even finding enjoyment, but if you want to, I think
Because think
what
about
is missing? Curiosity is what's missing because it's not even. Let's take out books. You know what I'm saying? Like
comics,
comics. Let's talk about
autobiography,
articles. Let's talk about
articles.
the New York Times. Let's you know what I'm saying? Like I need to do a little bit more research
What?
into reading as a whole because
Yeah,
I
th-
refuse to believe.
I wouldn't be surprised, baby. I mean, we a lot of people get their news from social media. So what is that? Under 140 characters?
Don't piss me off.
I'm serious.
Don't piss me off
I'm
right now.
serious. So if a lot of people get their news like that, then yeah, okay,
Wow,
boom,
that
boom,
is
boom, 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 and
crazy.
that's it. You
And
know,
don't even click
there.
the link.
I was just about to say.
Y'all are making me mad.
I'm about to say the link is right there.
And y'all don't even
Verify,
have 2 minutes for the read. That's crazy.
verify, and
You know
and,
what I'm
and you
saying?
know what? And that's another point, right? I think the adjustment that Gen Z is going to have to make, because from that article from
Hmm.
Essence, I think, um, look, if they feel like reading, a book, is time wasting, then
Hmm.
whatever, right? If they don't get enjoyment from doing so, cool, do your thing,
Right.
right? Not going to judge you or anything like that. But with this,
However,
however, excuse me, however,
hmm
am I like did I was I supposed to say
I was
however?
always
What's
taught
wrong with but?
but negates whatever you said before. However,
Oh, okay, okay, okay. All right. However, um, the issue that they'll face is, of course, just reading like these small texts.
hmm
When it comes to news, right? I think they're going to have to make sure that they're evaluating some of these articles, right? Just the credibility behind them as well,
hmm
right? They need to make sure that they're managing bias,
hmm
especially from themselves, but also, um, when you're getting your news from a specific
yeah,
place, you need to understand the nuances, and really need to decipher,
hmm
what is being said in that news article
hmm
or whatever it is that you're reading at the time, because that could be dangerous, right? Like I have an
yes,
example. We were at work. I was at work. Excuse me. I was at work, and this Gen Zer, he says something about Jeff Bezos. He basically Jeff Bezos put a quote out. I want to say
allegedly.
well, allegedly,
Hmm.
put a quote out on Wednesday saying, "Hey, the Gen Zers that want to go and have their own business and stuff should start at McDonald's, right, or a
Hmm.
grocery store or something like that, right?" He was like, "Yo, this is it's so funny that he said that." And I was just like, "What's funny about it?" Like,
Yeah.
I kind of agree with him a little bit. Like, actually, you should
Yeah,
start
you
somewhere.
probably should start. You
You
should
know,
not start in corporate America.
now
Sorry.
if you have social anxiety, I wouldn't start at the mall. It's a lot of people, and it's
Go to the librarian because it's
yeah,
you know what
right
I'm saying?
there,
Like
yeah.
that's a great
Yeah. Just
yeah.
getting customer service before you start a
Customer
business.
service.
And I think that's what if allegedly what Jeff was saying. But come to find out, Jeff. But see, that's the thing, right? He ran with that, right? So
Okay,
he
but
saw it
Jeff
somewhere.
what?
Jeff said that it wasn't the case.
So what was the case? Was the
He
tweet
he
never
he
made?
didn't. He never said that. So
Okay,
that's
so
my
then who
point.
tweeted it out?
I don't know. That's my point. It's
Oh,
just
he
like
saw it from a news
he's
source that
he.
said
Yes,
that
yes,
he
that's what I'm
did
saying. Yes, so
say that.
so uh, going forward, they're going
Mm,
to have to make sure that everything that they are reading or come across,
yeah.
just do your small little research, okay,
But if
before you start running with stuff, because that's how we're misinformation travels faster than the truth.
mhm.
Ooh, clip. What you
This-
talking about? What you talking
I
about?
think that
I'm
part of
learning.
the part of the problem though, I think also comes from the fact that if it doesn't matter if you like to read or not, reading's not it's not being encouraged as much because then we went down the rabbit hole of like reading and confidence and how
Oh
reading
yeah,
is correlated how reading, excuse me, is correlated with
it's
confidence.
that T, ain't it?
It's clearing me out, boy. that meant.
You're
But
gonna be
how
hawking up in a second.
okay, how my goodness, reading is correlated with confidence. And so then we start going down this rabbit hole of, well, if you lack confidence, then and because you're not being encouraged to read or whatever the case may be, right? Then how that lack of confidence can lead to not to being anxious or having some type of social anxiety or having some type of um antisocial behaviors or personalities or being not being able to speak publicly because of enunciation or syntax or interpretation or comprehension or like it leads to so many other things that stem just from reading and comprehension
Yeah,
skills at just a young age, not for enjoyment, just to know how to read and to comprehend what is on the page,
yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? Because just because it says something, there could be there could wow. Hold on, this tea really got me.
I was a little cottonmouth. I was a little cottonmouth.
Because
And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna sit this slow so I can have something later on.
it's
You are empty,
it's the mullein leaf. It's the mullein leaf because it's supposed to get out. I drank the wrong thing. It's supposed to get out mucus,
but
and my mouth is salivating in a way.
okay.
Okay. But, essentially there's so many really critical things that are connected to reading because just because it says something on the page doesn't mean like what can you imply from this statement? If you don't know how to comprehend read, how to comprehend
All right. This is getting out of control.
comprehend
Get the Stanley. Get the Stanley. Do it. Pop a swig. Do something.
how to comprehend that you may not know what it means.
What are you?
May not know what it means that they're asking you in the
Are you
question.
serious right now? You are going crazy. Lord, this is why I love her. She is
Let's let's
just
move on.
so serious. I get like
Do
this.
you have any final
Gotta cut it.
do you have any final
The dude in that car.
things that ah, do you have any final thoughts? Shit. Oh, we need to get together. Oh goodness.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, look, I think I touched on a few points,
Mm.
that I had written down in my notes. Um, I guess my final thoughts really is just, I have a feeling that, well, like your article said, right?
Huh.
Once kids are asked or told to do something, they automatically, or they start to do it,
Hmm.
right? Like enthusiastically.
Like I think once they're encouraged, encouraged to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's this kind of like, it's not even incentive based, right? Like, oh, I'll get a good grade. It's just like, oh, okay, it's just something new, or maybe they always wanted to do it, but it's just so convenient now
Hmm.
that they're like, well, I could just go ahead and pop this in, and it can read me or summarize this book for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Don't piss me off. If y'all, dude, if y'all cliff note and stuff, the beauty of the
that's
reading
nasty.
is is taking your time going through the story and all the nuances that come with that story. Do
Yeah.
not be don't cliff note unless it's even for school. Sometimes you do. I used to get cliff notes on stuff back in the day, but it's also that also came with research,
Well, let me ask you
right?
this: how do you feel about, and I guess this is my final thoughts,
You
right?
probably got the same thought as me. You know.
How do you feel about Kindle, not Kindle, excuse me. How do you feel about audiobooks? Right? Like, if you're, instead of reading it on the page, like you're listening to the book. How do you feel about that?
I think that Kindles they're great. I think audiobooks are great. However, they are more passive. They're more passive reading than active reading. And I wouldn't
Mm,
even say that it's passive listening versus active reading.
should you have a healthy
I
balance?
think you should absolutely have a healthy balance because when you're listening, and I'm not saying I don't listen to books. I listen to books. But when I'm listening to books, I may not I can hear it, but all of those little tiny details that you would pick up on, you may not catch every single one of them when you're just listening, right? Versus when you're reading the book and your eyes are on the page and you have to go side to side and what you're take in the visual that it's painting for you, right? It's like the picture is slowly developing, like each scene is
Y-
slowly developing as
You're
each
in
word.
you're in deep focus.
Absolutely.
Deep focus.
Absolutely.
Because when I'm listening to audiobooks, it's most likely that I'm in my car, so I'm
Mhm.
driving, and my main focus will be on the road.
Right.
Like, I'm hearing it,
Mhm.
right, and I'm picking up at points, and I'm kind of making like mental notes in my head
Right.
to go back to the book if I have it,
Yeah.
or to re-listen. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Right.
However, the main focus is on the road.
Yeah.
If I'm at the gym, guess what? I'm trying not to
The
hurt
gym.
myself. I want to focus on that. So it's like,
Yeah.
most of the time when people are listening to audiobooks, you're doing something else at the same time.
Right.
You
I
know,
usually clean
you're
while I
usually
listen
cleaning.
to or I cook. It's one
Yeah,
of the two. While I'm cooking, I may look
you
over at the recipe. I have it playing, but
it's
I'm reading the
it's
recipe.
it's background
it's
noise.
just it's in the
It's
background,
background noise
right? So it's
versus sitting on a couch, sitting in bed, sitting at a computer or
yeah,
a desk or whatever, and you're reading page to
right.
page, right? Like, that. That to me is the best way, And I
Yeah.
and I was against audiobooks early on, but
Hmm.
I understand the purpose.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you need to get through a book, like if you're in a book club and you need to get through a book or something like
Right.
that,
Pretty
then
quick.
cool, whatever, right? Like, maybe you could just make little notes here and there,
Hmm.
versus you having to read each page of that 500 pager.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that, but um, I would love to see this generation behind us um actually show more enthusiasm
Yeah.
to reading, right? And understanding, like, look, speech to text, what is it? Autocorrect is cool and all, like,
Hmm.
especially if you're just like quickly going
But this
through
is
it.
why kids don't know there,
But
there, and there. I'm just saying.
oh no, it's not even just
No,
kids, baby. It's
no,
adults
you're right.
too.
You're right. It's adults
It's
too.
adults too, and it's
But I'm just saying
one of
these
the
are the reasons
funniest.
why.
One of the funniest things is when someone thinks they ate.
He did the pinch clause if you can't see.
ate when someone thinks they ate online. You know what I mean? And someone's like, you didn't even spell there right.
That cracks me up. Like,
Or
you
they just or they just put the correct version of it and put an asterisk.
right.
You know what I'm
That doesn't
saying?
count.
And it's like, oh, like now your whole point is like,
Messed up. This is the thing because you know how I don't be commenting on social media, but when I see the mistake and you being smart, I go straight to read replies
you
just so I can
are.
see the person because I know somebody corrected them, but it won't be me, baby.
That's
But I
funny.
think
That's funny.
I think the last thing that I want to mention is
Oh, what about attention to detail?
attention to detail. I mean, I think all of those are important factors as to why reading is important. Is because
Yes. Yes.
you learn all of these different skills.
Because God forbid you put what is it, a cover letter into Chat GPT and it doesn't even like, it has like spelling errors or whatever the case is. You didn't even proofread it.
Yeah.
And so you just go ahead and copy, put it in a PDF file and sent it out to employers like, bruh,
And it's more so again, I know we touched on it
we talked about the
yeah,
article.
we touched on it last time when it came to like AI in the workplace, but it
Yes.
is about using these things as tools. It's about using these things as tools and not outsourcing your your
Yes.
mind to
Yes.
these tools. And I
Yes.
think that unfortunately we're seeing more so where parents are outsourcing their parenting to iPads at home. Schools have decided to opt into these programs that they feel are helping the kids and outsourcing that to technology when really we have teachers in the classroom for a reason. And really, we should be supporting our teachers more versus trying to give our kids more access to technology when we can't even when we're steadily just passing kids along for the sake of what meeting scores and meeting benchmarks or whatnot, and yet we're now where we are now, and we're showing that kids are illiterate in going into college, right? We're not talking about going into middle school, we're talking about going into college.
Sheesh.
These are grown, technically grown adults, right, who are going into the workforce soon enough, and they're illiterate, and not in a like not saying illiterate like in a negative
You're about to say
way, but
it sounds
it
negative,
sounds so
but
negative. But
it's not.
we're talking about things that are inherently important when you get into the real world and you have real budgets that you need to manage. You have real adult issues because I know that we can say as 30 something the issues or opportunities or problems, whatever the hell you want to call it, become a lot more real when you get into your 30s and you're like, okay, this is real life. I have real bills. I need to do real adult make adult decisions. But if you're basing those decisions on things that have not proven to have not been proven to be true as far as like what you're learning or what you're doing or how you're interpreting the data that you're consuming from the world around you,
Hmm.
then your decision making is flawed at
Yeah.
this point because you're using improper understanding,
Hmm.
right? Like, and I don't know, it's just it was even crazy to me. It's like I get that at one point like I worked in like um apartments and things like that, and I'm not going to put it on all the kids for not knowing when rent is paid and stuff like that, but it's just
You
like
told me about
or
this.
not knowing how to write a check or write what was it, a
What
money
did you?
order.
Yeah, about to say you asked them for something. It was
It
a
was
money
I
order?
think I was like, there was like they no they brought a money order in
Oh, okay.
and was like, how do I fill this out? And I was like,
Oh,
okay, put your apartment number down. But this is also, keep in mind, there's writing on it, right? That tells you, it kind of gives you an idea of what to put down, right? You know what I'm saying? So, it's things like that, or, not sitting down with your child and reading over their first lease. I feel like that's important. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're moving into an apartment,
what is
it
something you need to know?
something you need to know that the rent is due between the first and the fifth, babe.
you
You need
can't
to know that.
you can't burn candles in here.
You cannot burn candles in the windowsill. Why? Because if you read, it says flammable.
Only four people
Okay?
are allowed. and
Like
visitor parking. Like
it's
it's
things
it's
like that.
small shit.
It's very small things, but when
Yeah,
you get out into the real world, they make a hell of a difference because you paying your rent on the 15th versus the 5th is the difference between an eviction notice and staying in your apartment. You see what I'm saying? It's like these
they're
small
only gonna
things.
you gonna wait until they say something to you.
It's gonna be collections coming to you, and then you're gonna have to learn really quick about financial literacy, which I'm scared if just reading is the way
Is
that
an
it is,
issue.
that I don't know what financial literacy looks like. You see what I'm saying? So do we even know how a credit score can now affect how you see what I'm saying? So it's like there's a bigger web of things,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, and
Um
maybe subconsciously they're not aware of it yet, and I'm worried that it'll be when they reach our age, right? Because if they're going into college, we're assuming it's 18, 19. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? But by the time when they hit 27, 28,
yeah.
man, hopefully, man, things will change, right? Like I doubt college is sending them with tablets and whatnot. You know?
And no, you have your own laptops, I'm sure, and things like
Yeah,
that. But I
true.
think you have. I think we have to start. Students have to start becoming responsible for their own education
And
as well.
yeah, I mean,
Like, and it's when you get to college. At that point, it's like, okay, you get to college, and that brings me into are the standards being changed. You see what I'm saying? Like, what did I have written down? It says professors are adjusting assignments and expectations in response to reading. Okay. Do you think that it's necessary to support? Do you think this is necessary support, or does it risk lower academic standards, in your opinion?
is it necessary to support?
Is it necessary to support the students, or like reducing the standard, right? Or altering the way that they maybe the rigor of how they would typically grade, right? Changing that to something that's more uh, helpful for students to support them. Like, does that support them, or does that just lower the overall standard of education if they're making these adjustments to their syllabus or syllabi and requirements? Like, they, like, in that article they said that they had reduced the length of reading or number of reading requirements in the class. That is crazy, in my opinion. I'm sorry,
Wow.
because I had a 10-page paper due the first year in college and I was sick. That was the first, and that seemed like daunting to me. I think it was like 10 or 12-page paper that I had due. And coming out of high school, I was terrified. I said, oh my God, if this is what I have to look forward to. Now imagine if teachers were like, well, students aren't reading as well. We're actually going to reduce this to only 5 pages. I think that would be crazy,
Why is that?
because I think that the reason again, it goes back to those
What
other
is it over
skills.
though?
Well, I think we had to choose. I can't, don't let me tell you, this was college, this was 10 years ago.
You
Let me
what I'm
not,
saying,
let me
bro.
not sit here and lie to you. But I know that it was a topic that I got to choose, essentially.
Oh, okay,
It was
okay.
a topic that I got to choose, and I
Oh,
had to do a 10-page paper over whatever. And let me also add,
I'm
it
about
was
to
double
say
spaced. Like,
double space. You over here tripping?
no, but you think about a high school student. I was 17 when I got to college, right? So I was still quite young.
Oh,
I like to do it,
whoa,
17.
yeah. Look at
17. But for a high school student going from doing 3-page papers, right, to college doing 10-page papers, that feels like a huge, like, that is a challenge, right? It's challenging. It feels challenging, at
yeah,
least, right?
yeah.
And I have to do a lot of research, and I have to cite all of my sources, and I have to, you know what I'm saying? I have to do all of those
Well,
things.
oh, okay. Well, yeah. So I'm with that, right? Like just to set the bar, right?
Yeah.
At least high, right? Freshman year, it's like, oh my god, I got to write a 10 pager, and you have all of these different things that you need to make sure your paper has, right? Data
Yeah.
space, etc. So
Has to be a certain format.
certain formats, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, I'm fine with that. right? And then your expectation when you take these classes next semester or the following year, you're like, oh my god, like they could probably give me something else, or at least you're prepared because the next one might ask for 20.
Yeah, like I feel like it prepares you more.
Yeah, it prepares you more. So I think to answer your question, I don't like it.
I don't like it
I don't
either.
like it. I feel like this generation behind us, Generation Z, um, I personally, I feel like they're a little too coddled, and I feel like I
This
feel
was
like
the
every
era.
generation says that about the
Yeah.
following one.
No, but I think it's very true. No, and the
You
one
know, like
after it.
I feel like it's tailored way too much. You know,
It's
like
definitely
there's
giving
some
it.
adjustments
Yeah.
that you need to make, right? And I get the technology aspect of it. It's something that you just have to work with. But to completely like if the information is shown, if the data is present and it's showing, hey, these kids are coming in with a below ninth or 10th grade reading level,
Hmm.
right? And they're coming into college with it. You need to fix that or at least have a part in fixing it. And I'm
Do
not
you
saying you
think
got
they
to
care
solve
after they passed them
which
through the
is which
system all
is
the way? Like that's crazy.
which I made me it made me look to see because I was like, wow, is she really leading me into my next question? Which is like, do they want people just to work? You know what I mean? Like versus like you
Are we dumbing down the
thinking for
American
themselves.
people to such a degree that we want more workers and less knowledge and not any knowledge workers? We want more physical workers for tin hat,
Hold on.
tin hat. I don't care. My tin hat is tingling now, baby. You
See,
have you have opened up something.
I'm so respectful because I was getting ready to say you need to edit the 10 hats when like at this moment because I knew I was just like, okay, we're about to start putting that shit on. And I was like, oh, you should edit the 10 hats on
Oh, we
us.
should put a tin hat on.
Yeah, it should just go like pop like fairy odd
Okay,
parents.
I'll put a tin hat up.
But yeah, like I think maybe that's the case, right? Like I think
Mm.
because it also adds to my theory of
Mhm.
why or not. Yeah, I guess it's a theory. I didn't really say this out loud, but I was implying it early
Mhm.
on when I felt like the tablets were a band-aid for what was going on during COVID, right? You
Mhm.
have a bunch of students that are out of school for X amount of months,
Mhm.
right? Especially in these high, what is the word for it? These high infected rates, you know, these states with high infected rates and stuff like that, like the what was it, Florida, you know, that like it was spreading very,
Oh,
very
okay.
much COVID, right? It
Yeah.
was spreading so much in certain states, right? So they were on lockdown longer than the other states, right?
Mhm.
So you have to figure out a way because the students are going to lose an entire year, right? You can't have all these students held back because they missed it. So you figure out a way, and it's like, okay, we'll do online learning, and then the tablets come into play. Once COVID passes, pull that out, but it's
Yeah.
too much money in it now, right? It's too convenient for the parents, like you said. It's too convenient for the teachers. Some of
So
them,
then what's the conspiracy?
I think, I think they're like, okay, they figured out like, oh, this can happen, but I believe they knew the long term effects of ed tech or
Mhm.
educational learning online,
Mhm.
right? And they're like, nah, let's just keep it, right? Because maybe they do want to have more people in the workforce,
Mhm.
you know, and also I think that just leads to the illiteracy from these students, these college students that's going in now. And and it's concerning, you know, because it's like if you're not able to like some of the stuff that you've seen, right? Like
Mhm.
fill out a money order, like just give it a small example. If you're not able to do that, if you're not understanding credit, then financial literacy becomes an issue,
Mhm.
right? And then now we have a generation or a group of people who need their phones, right? I mean, we
Mhm.
were talking about it, right? Like what's going to happen if something happens? You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna happen if something happens.
You know what I'm
Baby,
saying?
I don't know.
Oh, you can't scroll through your phone? Like, oh, what's going to happen? Now you got to really think. Like critical thinking skills come into play,
Baby,
problem solving, you know, the stuff that actually can get you where you need to be. Where some of these companies, if you work for a company, right, which shout out to you if you are, that's some of the stuff that they do like. You have to be able to think. And if you're not able to think and if you're mindless, doom scrolling.
I wouldn't put doom scrolling in that. We can
Okay,
all
now
fall into
I'm
yeah.
now I'm getting a little crazy. Let me take it off a little bit.
Yeah, no,
Make
like,
sure you're editing, taking
let's
it
not
off.
put doom scrolling in
Let me.
there.
I was
I
getting a
don't feel
little
like that's the
out of
same thing.
control, but
Yeah.
yes, I feel like that. I feel like that is the. I won't say play, but it would not surprise me in the slightest if that
Mm,
is exactly what they want, right? Because now
mm,
you got all these kids who are going to college. Let's say they do pass them along. Now they got a whole bunch of debt,
mhm.
and now they're going to have to go into the workforce to pay that off and all this other stuff.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
10
And
hat.
oh, so do I need to put it back on?
Put it back on.
I kind of got a little
Put it
crazy.
back on.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Cause
So
now we talking about debt. And now we talking about you gotta pay off the debt. But all you can do is work with your hands because you can't even be a knowledge worker, right? Because you really
hmm
mm,
hmm hmm yeah, 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 yeah. I don't
very interesting.
there's you can't tell me that these tech companies that provided these tablets they didn't know the effects.
No, they absolutely did because you see a lot of these tech guys, their children don't use the
Yeah,
technology. They
rest
don't use
rest
the
in peace,
phones.
Steve Jobs. He said that he would not buy his child an iPhone.
But
He would never do it.
exactly. So, right? So if they're not allowing their children to use it, why are we letting our children
They
use those
absolutely
devices?
know. They
They
ran.
absolutely know, allegedly.
My
They
goodness.
absolutely know, in my opinion.
They should have. Yeah, they really should have pulled it too. I say 22, even early 23. Right, the kids that what I won't say freshman year class of 23, but the kids that were using it in the spring of 22 going into 23, if they were still in school, they should have prepared them saying, hey, we're going back to the textbooks, we're going back to class
No, they
engagement.
said it was palpable. You know the word I'm trying to use. When students got back into the classroom, they
Mm.
said that it was just not people had gotten so used to being online and doing their work that coming back to the classroom was like extremely difficult to
we
do.
we talk about convenience all the time. I'm a man of convenience. I will pay for
Don't
convenience.
we know it, baby? Wait,
Hold on. When we go to a
I'm a
show,
convenience as
hold
well.
on. When we go to a show, guess where we're sitting? Right there, so we can look.
Convenience as
So we can
well.
look at the stage. Why you say no? We know. You made it sound
No, I'm just saying. No, you know what I thought about? I thought about that time when you said that
like
you
it's
would
one of the
pay
things that I just won't budge
that you were to know when you said that you would pay more for a not as early flight, and I get that, and I get that.
on. Oh,
I mean, for a nonstop flight,
oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
yeah, like I know that that's a thing for you. For me,
You would pay. You would. It doesn't
I
matter.
don't care if it's the
That's
difference between an
that's a
hour
great example.
or 2 hours. Like if it's the difference between 2 hours, then I'll just take the connecting.
I mean, there's so many things I could bring up of why I think that's a horrible idea, but for the sake of the pod,
Okay, that's
we'll
fine.
do it. We'll do it when we. Because
Okay, but anyways, no, I think that
I mean, what if you get stuck?
that's a good. I think that's a good place to end on. Except for, I do want to say,
Did we not have an audience question?
yeah, we do. I'm about to get to it, but I
I'm
was
sorry.
gonna say, like, just to wrap up, I do. I hope
Mm,
that the standard doesn't continue to fall and that we 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 bring instead of bringing the standard to meet the kids that the kids need to we need to help them to meet that standard.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um
I felt like I answered your question.
and
Um,
so that's the last thing that I wanted to kind of say.
yeah, I felt like I answered your question. But I'll reiterate in case. But it really is. It I think it's imperative that these professors, these teachers, that they don't tailor it too much. I'm fine with they making like just little tweaks and stuff like that. It really just depends on the percentage of students that are coming into their class that are reading at a level that they shouldn't be. Um, so I just think that if you continue to coddle people and tailor things around them, it's going to be very difficult when they get out to the real world. So hopefully they're not doing it. at a clip that we believe. You know what I mean? Like hopefully it's, maybe it's just a student or two, which I don't know if that's not illegal, but if that's wrong, right? Like you're grading like your top performer in the class differently than the one.
No, they would just excel if you've lowered the standard. If
Yeah,
you've lowered the standard to meet whatever, or
for your whole
you've
class.
brought the standard to here to support students, then
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
just,
I
maybe
don't
move
agree.
them to AP, which will be regular, which will be a regular class. Just saying, if that's
Cause
what we're
now,
saying,
yeah,
because if that's the case, then I
cause
need to be in all AP classes if I just learn at a regular pace. Like that's what essentially we're saying.
yeah.
And I don't know what that means for the future. But I'm not going back down that. We've
Ooh,
been on this. We need to
cause
move on to the question. We need to move on to the
cause that
question.
would that
So
change? Would that change? Like, because
please, Chris,
oh my goodness, I just
tis
thought of
that.
something.
What?
Does that remove some of like AP's prestige? Like, is
So
it?
are we all really dumb? Have we all been really dumb our whole because we were in regular
I
class?
mean, if AP is like base level,
No, that means that those kids were geniuses. That's what that means because the level for
what's above?
AP has moved.
That's what I'm saying. So
That's what
now,
I'm
if
saying.
they're bringing it down, yeah, 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 we're agreeing. That's why I was just like, oh my god,
That
like
means that the
AP
AP
is.
in our day and time, they were geniuses. They were
You
doing calculus and stuff
hold
with
on, you were AP, right? Yeah, you
no,
were. You were in AP classes.
wasn't not all AP, just a couple.
Oh, you're talking about the people that just had nothing but.
They had all AP. I was like, okay,
Oh, got you,
yeah, I'm
got you,
saying,
got you, got you.
AP math, calculus, chemistry.
I
I'm like,
mean,
oh,
but yeah, I mean, if they're going to lower the standards, I mean, phew,
okay. We're moving on to
that's
our listener
that's
question,
unfortunate.
which is our segment called Left on Red. And because we're running so over on time, we're going to go quickly, to say the least. I'm going to read you the question, Mister. I'll read you the question. Hi. Hi, creme brulee.
You've had a lot of laughs. That's fine.
Hi, creme brulee. I'm 35 and seriously thinking about a career reset for the first time.
Okay.
I've been in my field for over a decade, and while I'm good at it, I don't feel connected to it anymore. The hard
Mm,
part is that it pays the bills, looks successful on paper, and I don't have a clear next thing calling me. I'm scared of walking away from stability without a guaranteed landing spot, but I'm also scared of staying somewhere just because it's familiar. How do you know when it's time to pivot versus when you're just restless? And how do you know? And how do you make a change without feeling like you're starting over too late?
mm, interesting. I mean, again, loaded. But we'll start. We'll start. First of all, I don't think it's a bad thing that it's paying the bills.
Yeah,
There's a lot of people that are doing a lot of tougher stuff, paying the bills. You know what I'm saying? It's if it's something that you can kind of sleepwalk through, and I'm not saying like in a bad way, but if
it
it's
feels like a really bad
it,
thing. It
but
just
if it's something that that you're really good at and it's paying the bills, cool, right? Salute to you.
right.
But um, yeah, I think it's just about finding she's the person was 35, right?
Yes.
I think it's just about finding what it is that you enjoy doing. And who's to say that you can't do both, right? You can look for new things and also, take care of your 9 to 5, keeping the main thing
Hmm.
while you're making the pivot, and if you need to take time to figure that out, then hopefully you have enough money saved up, right? If you have, sorry, oh gosh, yeah, hopefully you have enough money saved up. Let's say 3 months worth expenses, right? Take a leave of absence. You've been there 10 years. I'm sure you have enough vacation time. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a few PTO. I don't know if it rolls over for you, but hopefully you have enough vacation time just to take maybe 3 months just to figure something out,
Hmm.
right? Kind of outline it, just take a breather. You've been there 10 years, you know what I mean? So you should be able to go into any office that's at your job, and or leader, or I don't know, manager,
If
boss.
they can support it. I know some jobs do have the stipulation of
they
if
they
they
may
can
look at it.
support it,
Yeah, yeah,
if they
yeah.
can support you taking a leave of absence. But if that is an
if you
option,
if you can do so, I would suggest you do that.
yeah.
Because it seems like you're ready for a change, which is always good. I think in these day and times, you have to stay flexible. You have to be adaptable. Nothing's for sure, so you just have to keep that in mind. And if you stay flexible and adaptable, then you'll be able to do a lot of great things. Me personally, I'm a fixed sign, so it's very hard for me to to kind of get out of my own way, or I'm very stubborn. Someone actually left a comment that I really enjoyed. It's almost like when you're planting a garden, and instead of just like hoping that things would change, you're so patient and grounded to the point where you're just waiting for it to manifest, and then when it happens, you're you know relieved and excited about this new thing. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
like I think that's part of it. I think everybody needs like a shift in a sense, and I feel like this year, at least especially last year. Last year was a big year for shifting for me. But this year is all about just, kind of making those moves that will get me where I need to be. So
So how do you know? The question was, how do you know when it's time to pivot?
how do you know? For me, when I think, well, you should take a look at our burnout episode. I don't know what number it was, but our burnout episode should kind of give you an idea.
But if they
Some of
don't
the
watch the
signs.
burnout episode, how would you? Come on now.
Well, I mean, if they don't pay attention to it, let me give you like a brief summary. It's you really need to just take a look at yourself, and as you need to have difficult conversations with yourself, right? You need to just look and see, like, is this where I want to be? Am I okay with this? And if that's not the case, then yeah, it's time for a pivot. It's time to make a change. If you're okay with what you're doing, fine. But if you're like, it's just paying the bills, if you feel like you're really dragging yourself to work, then I would suggest you make that pivot.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
would
think those
say,
are big signs.
um, I think that it's never too late to decide that you're not happy. It's never too late to decide that you want to do something new or different. Me being where I am currently, I have made multiple pivots at multiple different stages in life, right? I started in hotels, and then I was like, yeah, no, not doing this anymore. Not happy. And then went to kind of like a sales marketing kind of thing, went into multifamily, and I was like, yeah, I'm not happy with that either. And after doing marketing for a number of years, 5+ years, then I was like, you know what, I'm moving. I want to realign and go into technology. And so now I'm deciding to make that pivot into technology. So I think that it's really when you have that urge to move, you know what I'm saying? And like the feeling I'm talking about, Chris. It's like when you get to a space where you start to feel when it starts to feel like everything is annoying and wrong and frustrating and just not right, and you just get to this space where you're just so uncomfortable, so tired, so annoyed. So it's just like something has to give. And I don't think that that's restlessness. When you get to that point, I think that that is a clear sign that you need to make a move into something else, whatever it is. And maybe you do need to explore your interest a little bit more. You need to maybe do some personality tests, or look into different careers that are out there or available. I don't know. But when you get to a space where doing your day to day, doing your day to day has become such a chore that
Mundane.
it brings you to a point where it just brings you to this point of constant angst, then I think that it's time to explore. But that's not to say, because I think somewhere in here is like you didn't have like a thing to jump to. That's not to say that you quit a job or you get a new one. Because if my mama
That's
taught me
why I brought
anything,
up that's why I brought up the leave of absence. If you have enough vacation time, if you're able to take a leave,
hmm
do so. Take that time to reflect, figure something out. I think it will help, you know.
yeah, like, but
Absolutely.
don't jump ship before you got something else. Like you don't you. I don't think that that's ever a smart move, especially in the world that we live in. You need money to pay bills and everything else. And let's also remember that a lot of our parents did jobs they did not want to do
Yeah,
to put
work is
food on the
work.
table, baby.
Work can be
Work is
work.
work, you know,
Work can be work. Like I'm sure there's a nurse that just hates the commute, hates going in, but
right?
that nurse loves to help people.
Yes.
Like there's an old woman who feels something in her fingers, like she just loves to help her.
Yeah.
Or it just there's like this factor that it just sweetens it just a little bit, right? And if you don't have that right now, then yes, I would suggest you make that pivot.
Or even in your day to day, even if you're making that pivot and moving, like moving to something else, look for the things that do bring you the happiness. Like the cup of coffee in the morning at the office. Like if y'all have an espresso machine, if that's the highlight, be very happy about making your espresso, and like find the things that bring you some type of satisfaction or joy. If it's working outside of your desk and working at the window or working at outside, do those types of things to continue to move through the space until you find the exit that makes sense for you to find the exit,
Right.
right? And it's like, also I've read this quote, and I don't even know what it was talking about, but they were saying something along the lines of, you know working to live instead of living to work, right? And in that sense, saying that even though, like, your to live is to be able to afford the things that bring you the joy in your life, that the foods you enjoy eating, and it may not be the job you want to do, but from that job you get to enjoy vacations that you can pay for, you get to enjoy a car that you get to drive, you get to enjoy spending time with family, whatever the case may be. So maybe reframing the mindset into, this may not be where I want to be right now. However, it does afford me the comforts of the life I enjoy living, right? And the comfort that's in my home. And
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like if you can repurpose that mindset at least enough to get you into,
Yeah, I mean the job may give you great benefits. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So
think about those
and you may
things.
have like two kids, that
Exactly.
you're taking care of. So yeah, I mean
And yeah, and you want to pay for their
the
schooling,
small
or
things are very important
it's
here.
those small things.
Yeah.
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 So that's what I would say about that. But
Yeah.
wish you the best of luck.
Yes, you do.
And yeah, so into the vibe check, babe.
Vibe check.
How is winter fern treating you?
Winter fern.
Or winter storm fern, tongue twister.
This storm has had four nicknames. It's just
Winter storm fern.
winter storm.
Exactly, it's
Let me
a tongue
see.
twister.
Winter storm fern. Um, I think it's really going to be dependent on how tomorrow looks. Um, just because like I think I really don't want to say it, but a part of me feels like what I'm saying.
I don't even know
I
what
don't
to
want to say it because I don't want to jinx
Okay,
Middle
then don't
Tennessee.
say it if that's what you believe in.
But we'll have to check back. But so far, I mean, it is what it is. People just need to stay off the road. I was definitely on Twitter earlier today, and just looking at some of the reports.
Mm,
What I'm saying, WSMV.
I haven't looked.
And they're reporting a couple crashes. This one dude actually recorded himself going to the Preds game that
Are
was
y'all
moved up.
dumb?
No, he had a dash cam.
Oh, okay.
He had a dash cam, so he showed like that perspective, and it did look crazy.
What look crazy?
The roads.
Oh yeah, they're probably covered.
He was heading to the press game, and it
But
looked
also,
crazy.
why was he? He must got 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, most likely,
Yeah.
maybe. And
I just want to know
it
who
did,
else
it
was at
didn't.
the press game
It
if
did,
you ain't downtown already.
well, it was at 11, so it started very early, right? Like it started at what 9 o'clock this morning
Are
when we
y'all?
got up.
I mean, no, it didn't start till probably like closer to 10. It was. I would say another hour.
Okay.
But even still, guys, you knew it was coming. Why did
Mm.
people like were people showing up and then like
Well, no, he was just showing the roads. He didn't actually
okay,
show
so
the
I've made a
press
lot of
game.
assumptions. Okay.
I was getting there. So he recorded himself leaving his house and
Uh-huh.
then just driving on the road, and the captain said, "Hey, just here's my view heading into the Preds game tonight or today."
Uh-huh.
And the roads look crazy, like it didn't look like there was a lot of salt down. It looked like I really couldn't tell if he was already on the interstate or like getting on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how bad it looked. I was just like, this is a lot, man. Like, where are you?
Okay, Tennessee.
It.
They don't care about us.
Yeah. I mean, there was of course reported
Allegedly.
crashes. Hopefully everybody is fine. I was concerned about like the ice and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And hopefully, like I said, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening will definitely give us an idea of how serious this is. Hopefully it's not.
It's supposed to be 16 degrees on Monday, babe. It's not going nowhere on Monday. It's not going nowhere. And then it's supposed to raise up to 30 the
Well,
following day.
it should help then, just a
But
little
it's
bit.
still below.
It
It's still like
is.
right at,
It is, but
you know what I'm
1
saying?
degree is the separation between
But
ice and water.
maybe
So
more people will be getting out on the road at that point, and so maybe it'll heat up the main road maybe. But
yeah.
anyways, I'm not gonna go down.
But
You know what we got in
besides
this
besides
house?
all of that, we do plan on watching our guy. What's his name? Aaron,
Who we plan on
the skyscraper.
watching?
Him
You
him
know, I'm
scaling the
just gonna
skyscraper,
say,
no equipment. I do plan on watching that tonight
in my opinion, I feel that it is irresponsible
for Netflix.
for
Yes,
Netflix to do such a
agreed.
thing. I understand, I get it. And this is coming from an investor of Netflix,
Two.
coming from two investors of Netflix. Um, yeah, I'm not happy about it.
I'm with you. I mean, it definitely
I think that is
it
terrible.
yeah, and even watching the last documentary that
It
they
has to be a delay.
somehow like put on everybody's FYP.
This was shot
Just pulled.
6 years ago. Keep in mind, this was shot in 2017. Not 6 years, but
I think it
2017.
was 19 or something like
I think it started. They showed a video that
because it
said spring 2016 on the bottom of there, babes. I remember seeing a video that they said
or
was
maybe
ending
it was
2016.
released in 19.
Exactly. But
Okay,
they started recording this in like 2016, 2017.
it was yeah.
And it just so happened to
Maybe it was
make
part
it
of
to
the
our
HBO
FYP.
package. Maybe, maybe.
You know, I don't run Warner Brothers, nor do I run Netflix. So let me shut my stupid ass up because I don't know. Okay. I'm not on the committee. But what I do know is that I don't agree. And I don't think that this should be shot live. I really, truly hope that there's some type of delay. Um, because I don't like it. It's making my stomach hurt. And it ain't even came on yet.
So, tell me about your vibe check, baby.
Um, Same. Well, on that note, I'm checking out. I'm checking
Yeah, that was like,
out.
oh, that's hilarious.
That was good. Um, but no, honestly, there's yeah, like honestly, same. Truly.
I mean,
Um,
you ain't going nowhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yes.
I am inside. I will say that we prepared for this. Chicken pot pie is about
Yes.
to be made.
Do you want to show them the blondies?
I'm not getting out of the seat to show the blondies.
Okay.
However, we did make some blondie brownies for the evening. Um, and then we have some banana bread that we're gonna make.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the banana
Exactly.
bread.
We're gonna make some banana bread
Have that
for,
in the
yeah,
morning.
tomorrow
Yes,
morning.
Lord.
Because I'm excited for that. So lots of bread in this house, baby. We
I was about to say
would
something so
much
inappropriate.
rather we would much rather
That
enjoy
sound
we
crazy.
would rather enjoy than to, constantly be worried about.
Can I say something inappropriate?
No.
Okay, never mind.
No.
I'll tell you off cam.
Okay. Let's do that.
So on that note, I think we did it, baby.
All right. Well, if you want to hang out with us more, catch us over on crimberley.com. That's KRIMBERLE.com. You can also submit your questions at crimberley@gmail.com. We would love to read them out loud on the show and give a little bit of life advice or whatever advice it is that you are looking for. Other than that, I think that'll be it. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace.